ends with Michael supernatural 100%, right?
Yeah.
There's no denial. You can't
Yeah.
like, well, you know, he took shots at the heart and you know, whatever. He hulked up, beat everybody and won. And then hobbles to a sewer and then just becomes old and decrepit for 4 years. Like, that's such a weird place to start.
It seems to imply that he gains power from kills.
Yes.
You even see, like, once he kills that guy, he, like, even straightens up a little bit.
He hulks up, man. He hulks.
Yeah.
He's hulking up, Jess.
What's your favorite scary movie?
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Get away from her, you bitch!
Come and play with us, Daddy.
It's the power of Christ that compels you.
Everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Arrow in the Head Show. Of course, I am Lance, and my other host, Tyler Nichols of Joe Blow Horror. How you doing, buddy?
Well, I don't want to bury the lead, but I'm not doing great because I watched Halloween Ends.
It's something else, man. All right, well, here's the deal. Let's not waste any time today.
Yeah.
I think you and me want to get into this fascinating little movie.
I have so much to say. So much to say.
But I'm a man of tradition. What are you drinking?
So today I kind of took inspiration from John doing the cocktail in a can, but this time I got a Holland Mule, which I just thought it was a Moscow Mule, but with New Holland, but it is that, but they use gin instead of vodka. So I'm very disappointed in that because I got it because I wanted vodka, and like gin's fine, but
it's such a distinct taste. I don't know, man. Yeah, if you're either in for gin or not, you can't be switching up gin for the hell of it, you know?
Exactly. So I've had a couple of sips. It's fine. I actually saw the Jameson stuff that John has been drinking, but goddamn, those are low alcohol percentage, so I couldn't do it. I picked them up to grab, and I was like, nope, 6%. No, thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. At that point, it's like I'll just drink there's beer that's higher in alcohol than that.
Exactly. This is 9%, so it's like, okay, it's at least a cocktail. That's
where you should be starting at everything.
Yeah.
You know, 9% is my low. Well, I decided, because I think this is such a joyous affair, I went actually classy. I pulled out the 18-year Johnny Walker.
Oh my god!
Shout out to my buddy Brad for it was like a going away gift. Cheers, Mr. Tyler Nichols, and here's to a fun discussion.
Yeah, and cheers to everyone else out there. Hopefully you guys gonna get some entertainment out of this.
Hello, my friend!
In order to properly get into Halloween Ends, we have to kind of have a basis for what we already think of the David Gordon Green trilogy. So I'll let you take this first because I know you're not quite as into it as I am.
That's fair. And I always think this is a good idea for us to do, because when I read or watch reviews, you know, I do think it's important to know where the person sits on the series, or at least the current era, because, you know, as somebody who loves film as much as you do, if a guy hates or loves something that I love or hate, that does make me realize, okay, well, maybe his word isn't the same as mine. So that's a fair thing. Now I'm going to get this out of the way. I do not like 2018. I think the whole thing was started on a pretentiousness that isn't fun to me, which is, we're going back to the original. No, those sequels, you know, the heart of the first. It's like, okay, but if you love the first and you know that can't be continued, you know, the man took 5 shots, fell off a second-story balcony, and then immediately disappeared. So he's now supernatural. That's how that ends. I won't take any other word for that. It's not like he just got up and hobbled. Motherfucker took 5 shots in the chest, fell off second-story balcony. Right? But if we're going to continue, okay, cool. I like some schlocky sequels. Let's have fun. And then 2018 came around. It's like, no sequels happened. Just the first. Laurie's a nutcase. And I was like, that doesn't make sense now. Oh, and Michael Myers is human, and he's in his 70s. I'm like, okay, well, nothing about this is fun. But they treat the movie like all the sequels happened. Like, she's batshit crazy. She's paranoid. People think about Michael as this entity. It's like, no, he was just he's an old man now, and he's just killed a couple of teenagers. I mean, that's it. Either way, I don't want to get that deep into it. But then Kills came around, and I love Kills. It is so schlocky. It is so stupid. I watched it the other night again, and I forgot that everybody gets like a monologue.
Michael Myers has haunted this town for 40 years. Tonight we hunt him down.
Should not have to keep running because of the darkness that I created.
He's infected your family. He's infected my family with grief and fear for 40 years. He's gonna die tonight.
Racking their guns. It's like, for 40 years. no longer. And I'm like, yeah, but you're 18. It wasn't for you. Don't even know about this. You don't give a shit. That's like somebody being like, me being like, Dahmer, nope, he has to go. It's like, yeah, but I was like, 4 when he was caught. So why do I give a shit? And then, the whole thing is just melodramatic, and there's the speeches, and the kills are aggressive and over the top. So I think Kills is a great dumb movie. It's not good at all. It's
Evil dies tonight. Evil dies tonight.
I love that there's somebody that was in post that was like putting that movie together and was like, you know what? They say this a lot, like to a point where it becomes almost like a funny catchphrase. Maybe I should cut this. And I could feel Gordon Green be like, no, hand on his shoulder, leave it in. That's where I stand. The Gordon Green trilogy, it's not my thing.
Okay. I would say that I am the complete opposite of Lance in terms of Halloween 2018. I would legitimately put it as one of my favorite, not only horror films, but just films of the last decade. I'm not even, that's how strongly I feel about it.
Yeah, love what you love. Who am I?
That's kind of how I feel. And where there are some things that bother me. I really don't like Laurie and her shooting gallery and the Dr. Sarkeesian twist. I don't like that. But every single time I've watched the movie, it just gives me this wonderful feeling. I love the kills. I love like the light sensor death and just the score itself. I've listened to that score more than most albums, regular just albums. So I love that score so much.
Hold on. I will. Okay, let me give you this. I'll give this. The Carpenter scores are fantastic. And yes, as much as I do not like that movie, I think it's his best score since his peak in the 80s. So
it's so good. If every video that I was able to edit, I could just use that score, I would love it so much, because I really adore that movie. And I think too, I really love the Allison Andy Matichak character, because I thought they did a good job of actually creating a new Laurie with some changes, which is also why I fucking hate the new one. But again, we'll get into that later. So yeah, the first, like 2018, I really, really love it. Halloween Kills, also a really big fan. I love slashers, and so it lives up to the name. It's just kill after kill after kill. And yes, there's dumb stuff. Like, I wish a majority of the Tommy stuff was cut out, and the hospital and like the hospital, I don't like that. But there is like really good stuff. I love the playground set piece with all of them getting murdered. That was really cool. And there's a lot of stuff that I enjoy. Just like Halloween 2018 does kind of feel like, it kind of feels like it's the end because of them burning down Michael and all of that. But then this one, it kind of gives a reason where I'm like, okay, I'm not super upset about the change, versus like Halloween 4 to 5, where it's like, wait, what? That's the excuse for how he got out? I like that aspect. And one thing I will bring up that I disagree with you on is that I don't feel that they got rid of the supernatural element. I think he's supernatural in this, because he's in his 60s and he's like lifting dudes up with a goddamn fire axe thing.
Well, Kills, Kills is where like they made him supernatural. But the first one, I feel I'd have to find the article where they're like, no, we want to go back to human, like we don't like the supernatural. And then the Kills, they revert back. Kills, never like he gets shot 5 times in the chest. I counted 5.
The suggestion that he's more than a man is a theory that Laurie has. In my own personal concept of Michael that will carry forward as long as I'm involved, is that he's capable of spectacular things, but not impossible.
In Halloween Kills, and then gets beat the shit out of with a bunch of base flats, and he hulks up and he gets all and he kills everybody. I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah. He's supernatural. That's what I want. You're absolutely right. But in 18, though, they're like, no, it's a human Michael.
Yes, and I completely agree that that's what they said, but I don't think that they pulled that off in 2018.
He was, the doctor, what's his name? I apologize.
Sarkeesian.
Yeah, he like stomps his head to like a pumpkin. I mean, no, I can't do that, and I go to the gym, let alone a 7-year-old man in jail that hangs out. No, I mean, they said it, and then they completely contradicted themselves, which is, but.
Well, and so before we wrap up the Halloween 2018 Halloween Kills, I want to know your rating because, again, we always rate these, and I know we'll rate ends, so it's a good way to gauge them all. So I can tell you need to think about it for a minute.
Yeah,
so
go first. Yeah.
I legitimately, I would, because I don't really give out 10s very often. I would give especially if I see flaws, I would do a 9 out of 10 for Halloween 2018, and then Halloween Kills, I would give it a 7. But honestly, Halloween Ends may have brought it up to a 8 out of 10. So I don't know. Right now it's a 7 and a 9. What about you?
All right. 2018, I think I'd give a 4, maybe a 5. I don't know. I have to watch it again. I remember walking out of the theater swearing and getting real upset. I remember Emily had to calm me down. She's like, "Babe, we're in public." I'm just like, "Fuck!" So I didn't go to the theater for Kills. I remember after Kills, I was like, that was so fun. Like, oh, that was so fun. Kills, I'd give a 7, maybe an 8. Again, yeah. I kind of stress this. I know it's stupid. I like it because people are giving monologues that they haven't earned. They're riling up the town for no good reason. People are acting out of character. They chase the penguin.
Yeah.
And assume it's Michael Myers, though Tommy Doyle was looking at the TV when they showed the guys, and he actually was looking. He's like, "That's a scene," and he forgot about it.
I love too that Sheriff Brackett does the everyone's entitled to one good scare. It's so corny. Oh, okay.
Yeah. No.
All right, so this movie starts off, usually we get the cool Carpenter score over the Universal logo. This time they start off with a ridiculous radio DJ. And I think that right then I just knew that we were in for trouble because it just does not fit the tone. And then I know that then they're trying to call back to Halloween 3 with the baby blue font, but it just doesn't work. It doesn't work in any way. It looks really stupid. I've always had a problem with the pumpkin that they always end up using for these little intros. I think they look bad 90% of the time. The Halloween Ends ones with it on fire works okay. But in Halloween 2018, it just doesn't look good. It looks really, really generic. And this time it looks even more generic. I think one thing that always stands out to me whenever I see this kind of stuff now is something that John said in terms of it's the McDonald's version. This is the Big Mac. And that's what this felt like. It just feels very, very generic with like, oh, we're gonna have all these scary faces. And it just didn't work out well. So then literally just from the jump, just from the credits, I'm already annoyed at this movie. And then we get introduced to our wonderful lead character. I'm not lying. This is our lead, Corey.
Yes.
Some random ass 22-year-old where I'm like, why is this in what is supposed to be the culmination of 4 films, which technically even more. It's supposed to be this big culmination, and they're just introducing a random new character. And they do the stupidest thing where they just have dumbass jump scares throughout the beginning with no semblance of actual fear. It's all just, oh, this kid jumps up. Oh, this random noise. I hate that shit so much. And so then when they finally do the big, oh, the kid falls down and breaks his neck. I saw this movie in the theaters on Thursday. That got an audible laugh from the entire theater.
It was done in a goofy way. It really was, man. Even I at home, I was like, well, I think you forgot the best part of the intro, though, is when the mom looks up and it does that really kind of lame zoom. What have you done?
And he's holding it's like a bread knife.
I know.
Where it's like,
why?
Dude, drop it. What are you doing? You just look like a psychopath.
I was going to say, hold on. I want to skip ahead. I wrote this down because it was one of my favorite parts. He's at like the little bar that everybody's at. And they're playing a little bit of that Eric Boucher, Jello Biafra music. And then he sees the mom, at the bar. And she's like, having fun, huh? Huh? You laughing? You killed my son.
Sorry for killing my son.
It's this moment that's supposed to be dramatic, but like I kind of cracked up.
There's so many moments like that. Just like immediately after that, Allison runs after Corey because he's upset because he just got yelled at by the mom of the kid he killed, and he yells at her. He's like, "You threw me in the middle of it, and where were you?" And it's like, actually, you left her on the dance floor to go get a drink. What do you mean, where were you?
You're an adult.
Yeah,
But
you're a grown man. You can fucking handle this stuff by yourself. And
it's a small bar. You could probably like look to the left and see his girlfriend. I just like, hey babe, hold on.
this is just a really poorly written movie. I can't seeing that like the 4 different names pop up. It's like, oh yeah, I guess that's a reason why this is such a shit show, because it really feels disconjointed and that 4 people had a hand in it.
Well, nothing's earned though, and this is the thing about the series that we're going to disagree on a little, but especially in this one, nothing is earned. They keep saying all this stuff. Like I'm being told how important things are, how sad people are, how they're affected, but I'm never really shown. Like even the town being infected, like that's an interesting concept that could have been explored. But it's just kind of casual. We just kind of go through. I'm like, okay, well that's stupid. So now the town's suppressed. It's like, okay, Haddonfield is both a small podunk town when it needs to be, and it's also kind of like a big suburb. And Halloween Kills, it like looks out over this fucking hill. And it's like, Haddonfield. It's like, well, Illinois is flat, so where the fuck are you? And 2, like, is it big or small? Because, I've lived in towns where people have been murdered before, and, people just kind of went about their day. And I know that it's like, well, it's all about trauma and tragedy. It's like, yeah, but you got to earn it, or I'm going to laugh at you.
I love, too, that they try and blame Laurie for Michael's kills. They even have the cemetery caretaker that then it seemed like she was murdered with her husband and kills, that then apparently she isn't, and her sister shames Laurie like, this is your fault.
You tempted and you provoked that man when you should have left him alone.
My friends are dead. My parents are dead. You're the one that's capable of fucking harm.
What the hell? I understand that they've established Allison has bad taste in guys. They have that established in terms of she's with that one douchey guy in the other movies. I get that. Yeah. I get that. And so here it's like, okay, we get to see with the cop and and Corey, like clearly she has some bad taste, but they also just made her a fucking moron. She doesn't have any common sense. It's very frustrating because I really like what they did with that character in Halloween 2018, where I thought that then, Andy Manischek is going to be around in the horror world for a while. And with Halloween Ends, I'm like, oh fuck, they may have ruined her career. So I hope that's not the case.
Yeah, but she'll be fine. I mean, I think she was fine. It was written character. I mean, nobody was bad acted. It was just all the writing was hilarious. Who?
Jamie Lee Curtis. I could not. Those monologues were fucking awful.
Okay, but I don't blame her. I mean, I know. I said the writing was bad. I don't think the acting was bad. But no, nobody could pull off that kind of stuff where it's like, for 40 years you haunted my. It's like, oh god. Her like little memoir. I was just like, I'm not supposed to laugh, guys. Come on. I actually liked her character in terms of like being normal in this. I was like, she should have been like this in 2018. 2018 never earned that. Like Sarah Connor shootout shit. I was like, you got to take 30 or 50 years ago. Who gives a shit? 2018, she's crazy. Can't handle it. Lives like in Haddonfield still. Didn't move for no reason. And then has a little fucking jail cell in her house. Okay, whatever. But now in this, her daughter's been murdered and the guy is now out.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. So she's doing all this prep while he's in prison. Yet he kills all these people and is still out on the loose, and then she's like,
and her daughter.
I'm good.
Daughter. It's a tradition. I'm gonna bake you a Halloween pie. It's like, is that a new tradition? Why are we doing this? The killer's still out there and he killed your daughter. So now it's like really personal, not like your friend when you're 15. No offense. Yeah. But you weren't alive long enough to really like bond with people to have like if my friend died today, that I've known since I was in 4th grade at fucking ball. It's the difference that's earned. Her daughter is dead, and she's like, gotta live and let live. I'm like, that's nice.
The lack of respect towards Judy Greer's character in this is
it was kind of great.
One of the funniest parts in this, I think I wrote it down, was they're doing this. It's during the Laurie Strode monologue at the beginning, and she comforts Allison at one point, and she says she gives the gift the necklace that has the 2 wedding rings on it, and she's like, it's their wedding rings. It's like, no fucking shit. What do you think? Like, we as the viewer did not need that line. It just made both of them look stupid. Of like, well, yeah, no shit. Why else? What other significance would these rings have?
The series, though, is a lot of telling. That's what I was saying. There's not a lot of showing. There's telling. They're telling me how you feel. They're telling me how the stress there. They're telling me about the trauma. I'm like, okay.
I bought a home, a place to live with love and trust. Not a trap, not a place to hide.
The Halloween 2018, they don't do a bunch of like flashbacks and footage from the past movie, which I liked. Yet in this one, that seems like all they're doing is they have flashbacks. They have to show us Judy Greer's death from the last movie, where it's like, that's like the last thing we saw. What do you mean you have to show this again? Oh, I'm so frustrated by this whole thing. But I have one good thing that I want to talk about that you actually made me think about. Laurie Strode's house in this movie. Absolutely love it. I'm like, oh, I wish I lived in that house.
It's a charming little old person house, you know? Yeah.
Very charming. It's very like open concept. The kitchen is gorgeous. That was one of the few, especially even the second time, once I'm like trying to look at positives, I was like, I guess I like the house.
So things that I like, I wrote it down. There's 2 things that I like. So years from now, when people ask me about Halloween Ends, I'm like, well, there's 2 things that I love. Darcy the mail girl, of course, even though they cut her death, I heard. So when they release it on video, I guess they'll have it.
Yeah, why bring her in if you're not even going to show her killed?
I know. Yeah, it's a weird cut. And I think the most important part is Corey's dad was watching Hard Target. And I was like, man, I wish I was watching Hard Target.
And I did like too, I liked the callback of having John Carpenter's The Thing on the TV, because obviously in the original Halloween they have The Thing from Another World.
Yeah,
that was interesting. But I have another positive that I forgot about. I like that the legacy characters that are in this film, unlike kills, they aren't just introduced to then kill them off. Like Lindsay is in this movie, and she's just a character. She's not in peril once in the entire film.
Right. Which one's Lindsay? I'm sorry.
Lindsay is Kyle Richards. She's the
bartender.
Was she a bartender? I thought she was like a psychic in this one.
Well, she ran the. Well, maybe. Well, actually, no. Oh, you're right. No, but she was working the bar. I don't know what's going on. You're right. Though she wasn't the bartender in the first one. She was drinking. It was that old guy now, but she was running the bar in this. I don't know, but yeah, she was doing the little card readings,
which I enjoyed. Because that was one of the things going into it where I'm like, I don't like when they're just like, oh, well, we have these characters, well, they're around, so we have to kill them off. So,
well, I mean, kills. I think the dumbest thing ever was that the nurse that worked at Smith's Grove, who was like at least 30 years older than all the kids, is like now in Haddonfield hanging out with them like they're all buddies. Like, man. That night of they bought over Michael. It's like, why would she even be there? Why would she be?
Yeah, she's not even from Haddonfield.
No, they established Smith's Grove is not that close. It's a weird thing. It's a very stupid thing as well. But again, at least they made up with cool kills as opposed to this movie that was a drama for like an hour and a half. You know?
Okay, so that brings me to the fact that I'm not sure if you timed this or not, but outside of the weird montage thing where we get a minute of him killing, we don't see Michael until 38 minutes into this fucking movie. 38 minutes.
And that's only for like 6 seconds.
That's very briefly. And that's literally a super brief moment. The full reveal is at 40 minutes. 40 minutes.
40, okay.
Yeah. And he doesn't actually do anything until 55 minutes in. And even then, that's just when he's lumbering around and getting yelled at by Corey. So he's just fucking pathetic in his first kill. They're like, oh, get him. Like, what? He's like barely even able to do anything. It's so frustrating.
So my question to you, right? Halloween ends with Michael supernatural 100%, right?
Yeah.
There's no denial. You can't like, well, you know, he took shots at the heart and you know, whatever. He hulked up, beat everybody and won. Mm-hmm. And then hobbles to a sewer and then just becomes old and decrepit for 4 years. Like, that's such a weird place to start, because he is old and decrepit, because you said Corey just like yells him and pushes him over. And I don't know if you remember, this is a shot where he's like this on the ground. Dude, That's a bad frame. That's a bad frame. He looks so pathetic. We went from saying he was one thing to now saying he's something else. I don't understand that logic. You can't bring him back as a human, or if he is unstoppable, would he run out of juice? I'm confused why he's old and weak in a sewer.
Why is he not coming? So I thought in the intro, I thought the whole thing that they were going to do is that, oh, Michael's been killing on Halloween every year, but it's just like it's a couple kills and then he's back in the sewer. But no, they don't even fucking do that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, they imply that like, oh, he's been killing people and dragging them into the sewer and eating them, where it's like, oh, okay. Why isn't he actually still killing things in a significant way, especially when it seems to imply that he gains power from kills.
Yes.
You even see like once he kills that guy, he like even straightens up a little bit.
He hulks up, man. He hulks.
Yeah.
He's hulking up, Jess.
Okay, well, you've killed these people over the years. Why aren't you then you look like you're in the exact same shape as you were at the end of Halloween Kills, despite the fact that we know you've killed a bunch of people in the 4 years since.
And he should have been strong. He was weak. I don't understand. Like, he was weak. I don't understand. He was like crying on the ground. I don't get it, man.
Got manhandled by Corey.
Yeah, like twice.
Give me your mask.
Yeah. He fucking wrestles that old man. I was like, man, that's such a lame thing.
So bad. This movie should have been called Mike and Me because of Corey and Mike's little dumb fucking relationship.
Well, okay, did you think about this? I think my favorite part in my mind is that when they go to the doctor's house and do that, right? Whatever. The idea that Michael is working together with somebody I think is a lame idea. I really do, but whatever. Love what you love. But I know that house wasn't next to the expressway, which is where the sewer's under, which means they both have to get there. Now, I'm just going to go on a limb here and say that I know that Corey drives a motorcycle, and I doubt Michael's walking 40 miles. So that means Michael's on the back of that motorcycle, just fucking like hanging out as they went there, That's the only logical explanation how they both got there. Michael was riding the back, Michael was riding bitch, and they both rode to the doctor's house. But hold on. My favorite thing in this entire movie, and something that I keep going back to, is do you remember the movie She's All That in the 90s? Where they take a gorgeous girl, put glasses on her, and they're like, look at her. Ew, how can we even, it's like, well, no, she's hot. It's just glasses.
Yeah.
So Corey, the first time I saw him, I was like, oh, this guy's like, I could tell in shape. I know somebody who's not 100 pounds because I have eyes, right?
Yeah.
And so like they put glasses on me. He's all like, oh, I'm so dorky. It's like, okay, sure, but you're not, but whatever. Let's go, movie.
Yeah.
I'll hold your hand. Then he gets bullied by the fucking band camp. And all those motherfuckers are like 100 pounds. And I paused it. The main bully is about 5 to 6 inches smaller. And I was like, and that guy has a small build. And the fucking drummer, the one that looked like he was in some sort of like South African rap band.
Mm-hmm.
That motherfucker
I think he is.
Oh, is he? Because I was like, man,
He's a rapper in real life.
Of course he is. Of course he is. I was like, man, if any character, like I thought they did really well with that character because I'm like, man, that motherfucker needs to get killed like tomorrow.
The lead kid is so funny. Especially after he pushes Corey down into the little ravine. He's like, I didn't push nobody. He fell.
Well, that's another important thing. Besides the band camps, I realized that Haddonfield is actually now in either New Jersey or New York because like there's 6 characters that have like a strong.
What the
Jersey,
fuck was that?
New York accent. It's like,
Or in the fucking marshes, man. I didn't push nobody. He fell.
Who's that calling you under the dinner table? Who's that person you're texting?
Dude, I forgot about the parents.
Parents are great too. Those are hilarious. Like, she like kisses her son in the mouth. It's like,
oh my God. And I wrote this down. She says, boys who keep secrets don't get custard for dessert.
Boys who keep secrets don't get custard for dessert.
I didn't notice. So I watched this in the theaters on Thursday, and then I watched it on Friday night on Peacock in order to take notes, because unfortunately in theaters I was just mouth agape like, what the fuck is happening? So I had to go back through and be able to actually see these notes. And so there's a moment that I didn't notice in theaters, and this happened several times because I think the Peacock, watching on Peacock, it's a little bit brighter than in theaters. So when he first falls down and it pans down to his body, you see Michael on the right side of the screen walking up towards him. Technically his first appearance. I didn't notice it in theaters. And that same thing happens when the cop is in the sewers. Michael is right next to him and he doesn't see him. I didn't see him in the theaters. And then it's like 2 or 3 shots later that they show Michael appearing from that direction. So like there's things like that where I was like, oh, that's cool. I didn't notice that the first
They're
time.
setting it up. Why, if he's going to eat people or kill him or do something, why would he not? That's before that he transferred his little fucking power thing to him via like a love look or whatever the fuck that was.
What the fuck was that?
It has to be supernatural, because if not, it's even dumber. It's dumb to begin with, but it's even dumber if it's just he looked in a man's eyes and decided to kill. Yeah, is that what we're going for? Either that or transferred some sort of evil. Both ridiculous, but I don't know. I thought it was so stupid.
Gives me love, 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 crazy love.
And he comes out, he's all fucking changed. You know, it's like Spider-Man where he goes to his room, is knocked on the door, he's just like, what's going on? Takes off his glasses. You know, it's like, what the fuck?
I know, I almost wanted him to like emerges from the sewers. He like has to take off his glasses because he can now see and he has like a six-pack.
Yeah, exactly. You know?
I watched the commentary on Halloween Kills, and David Gordon Green had mentioned the radio tower in it. He was like, oh, that's something that I had them add in post because it'll come up in Halloween Ends. And so I was like, oh, that's interesting. Yet in Halloween Ends, really the only thing that they imply is that, oh, well, Michael stared out his window at the radio tower and he realized that he had greater things. His life was meant for greater things. And that Corey had the same thought, where it was like,
I never connected those two. That's really stupid. Are you serious?
Yeah. Where I'm
Michael
like,
looked at a radio tower and that's it?
Yeah, did you not, when Michael's looking outside, they show that radio tower a bunch, and then they tried to do the same connection with Corey and the radio tower. So then he's like burning it down at the end. And yeah, this is a very poorly written movie, folks.
Why is Michael School to be a killer and not like Mancow Moeller? But I feel this movie is taking the wrong direction. It should have been a radio DJ.
Well, that's what we're starting to see too. I think that was Corey's whole thing too. He really wanted to be a radio DJ, and then you know, his hopes and dreams were slashed. Yeah. So then he had to go back in and, you know, take it out on him.
Which again, it was a really cool kill, except for Corey is in his 20s and he's not supernatural. So again, that's the kind of thing where it's like, okay, play the fucking game. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
Is he supernatural or not? Because he destroyed this man's entire face. And if it was Michael Myers, it's like, yeah, I can believe that, but this is just a kid. So it's like, come on, man. A cool kill like that, we're going to waste on Corey, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, the bullies were a cool kill too, but it's like, well, I don't really care because it's not him.
That's another thing. So who does Michael kill in this? The redhead?
He kills Corey at the end where he snaps his neck.
Oh yeah, sorry. I guess I had attributed that to Corey himself, since he literally puts the knife in his throat.
If I can't have her. And then my favorite thing is that then Jamie Lee Curtis grabs it, pulls it out, and holds it. Call me old-fashioned, but at this point in movies, I think people should be smart enough where they're not grabbing the gun afterwards or the knife.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just start there. Who am I? I'm just some guy. But I know, and then if I know, everybody else does, not to grab a knife and pull it out of somebody and hold it, or grab the gun and start waving around. You know, just leave your fingerprints off shit. And that's just, and then she does it, and then Madishek walks in, and she's like,
what did you do to him?
Whoops.
What's this bloody knife doing here that I'm holding just like I stabbed someone?
She should have been like, look at it. He's in the costume and the mask. What the fuck do you think he was doing here? You know?
And so we kind of skipped over it, but I do want to talk about it because I think it's one of the biggest missed opportunities in the film, and that is the junkyard scene. Because
the bullies, the band camp.
Yes. First off, I wrote this down. Again, any line that stood out to me where I just thought it was hilarious, I had to write down. They get to the junkyard, and one of the teens is like, his work is a dump. And then the other one's like, it actually is a dump.
His work is a dump. It actually is a dump.
Like, yes, it's a junkyard. That's great line.
Yeah. Not a dump though.
Yeah,
you know?
not a dump. Yeah, so technically wrong. So I mentioned already the motion activated light sequence. It's one of my favorite kills in all of Halloween, even though technically we don't even really see the kill. He stabs in the back and then he drags down.
Oh, with the kid that looks like Foggy Nelson.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, the tension of it, I love that. Yet in this, there is no tension. It's just the kid with a mullet, he's killed off screen. Meanwhile, the poor girl that was always like, we don't need to do this. This is being mean. She gets hit by a car, her head stomped, and then run over. So she gets the worst of it.
But it was kind of funny though, where she like climbs the fence, jumps down, and then goes like, I mean, fair enough. But she was talking some shit when they got to the junkyard, her and the other girl. I mean, it's one of those things though where I agree with you, but it was funny when it just runs her over.
Oh yeah,
like, ah.
It's easily the one of the most entertaining. I just didn't think it was executed as well as some of the other kills because
it was earned.
Yeah, and that's another thing is that this scene, or the whole once Corey takes the mask, that starts 1 hour and 22 minutes into the film. So we're finally getting a Halloween movie an hour and 22 minutes in
without Michael Myers. Though.
Without Michael Myers, like what the fuck? And also, I am a defender of Friday the 13th Part 5: A New Beginning. Does not have Jason in it. It does not bother me because I believe you've said this in the past. He still looks like Jason, still acts like Jason, still represents Jason.
Yes, you can take it as Jason if you want. It's not. And I understand why people hate it, but that's one of those where you can sit back and pretend, you know?
But there's also, it's not like in that film, they don't then introduce, like, Jason isn't on the perimeter of the story and then coming in at the very end.
Yeah, he's not hanging out in some sewer like a little bitch.
Yes, so I have just a huge issue with how they treat him in this movie. It's so disrespectful. I mean, I'm wearing my Freddy Krueger sweatshirt because of the disrespect.
When you're in a franchise like this, right, and it's gone this long, Michael is sort of the main character, right? And I'm all about for doing things different if you can, because you should always aim to make your own mark, right? But in the third film of a trilogy, the sandbox you got to play in has kind of been established. And you could do different things in the sandbox, but you got to respect essentially the perimeters of what you can and can't do. And to me, if this was David Gordon Green's first Halloween movie, I have issues, the same issues, but I'd be like, okay, you at least acknowledge that you're starting off in a direction that I'm not going to follow you. I'd be like, I'm done, but you can do this. But doing this in the third movie to me is insulting because you're contradicting what you've already started, and then you're treating the characters as secondary when they should be the focus.
Yeah.
You haven't earned this sort of weird, wild swing in a different direction.
Yep. Well, and that's the thing too. This whole promotional onslaught has been Laurie versus Michael, the final showdown.
The poster where they're like out a fucking rap album. They're like back to back. I love it. I love it.
Right before we recorded this, I watched the final trailer because I was just like, okay, just as a nice little refresh. And that's such a fucking lie. That whole trailer, it makes it seem like a completely different movie. And so that is what I have a big issue with. They act like this is the culmination. They act like, oh, we're going to spend 90 minutes to 2 hours of old school Michael stalking Laurie. This is supposed to be Jamie Lee Curtis's final performance as Laurie Strode, and she's hardly in the movie.
And the character that is in the movie doesn't make sense off of the first two.
Yeah.
You know, again, her daughter was murdered. Now it's personal, and she's like, you know what? Listen, I don't want to stress out about this kind of stuff. I think we got to relax. When the killer's out there, and again, not to say the same thing we said before, this would be the time where I would expect her to be paranoid with guns and things. Not like bacon pies. Like, hey, show fear your tits, man.
I'm gonna rip off your shirt and show grief your fucking tits and say, you know what? Let's go.
I'm curious as to what you think of the final battle with Laurie and Michael in the kitchen.
I've never liked this series because they're both old. I think it's stupid to have old people fight, man. I really do. And this didn't do anything. Like, they had a hand-to-hand combat. I know people are like, oh, the battle. It's like, yeah, but the battle made sense if this was Halloween 4 in 1986 or 7, whatever year that was. But they're both geriatric. So, like, they're both taking hits. I mean, he's supposed to be supernatural, but she's taking hits from, like, come on, man. And then she's getting choked, and she's like, do it. It's like, but why? Why?
Do it.
What has led up to that? You're baking pies and showing your tits at the beginning of the movie. Why do you want to die now? They just cut him? Like, oh, all right. And then they have like a weird parade. I mean,
parade.
Yeah, they had a little parade. And everybody's like fucking on the sides, like the little sparklers. It was really lame, man.
And then they raise him up like he's Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2.
He's just a kid. I don't think a fight should have ever been the true ending. I just don't think that's a good thing. I thought if you take the mob scene from Halloween Kills and have that be the ending, where maybe Laurie gets a couple stabs and they just like rip him apart, like head, just quarter him, just intestines, Day of the Dead style. That's how you do it. But like having her mano a mano, was she training? I didn't see her, doing any push-ups in this. I don't see a pull-up bar. I mean, listen, man, I'll be honest. By the time I got to there, I was so bitter. I was like, I don't care. Let this whole thing burn. I'm so cynical. I was like, I'm glad people are walking out of theaters like upset. This is what you get for wanting two old people to fight, you know?
I will say that I would have walked out of the theater if I didn't have to do it for this show. I was
walked out?
I would. Nice. I would. No, I'm saying I would have, because at about the 45-minute mark, when Michael wasn't even around, I was so annoyed. And they don't pull off anything well in this. We differ a little bit on the ending. I actually enjoyed, that was easily my favorite part, the actual Laurie versus Michael mano a mano, because of the fact that that's what we were promised in all of the promotional material. So that's what I was looking forward to. And
the 5 minutes is what they gave you.
Yeah, and it's so stupid. So I had crew members that have worked on this movie it's kind of been known that this was not going to be good. And so I was aware of that just because of different crew people talking about it. And so I really had low expectations. And then the trailer came out and I was like, oh, they must have fixed it with reshoots. They clearly got their shit together. And it's like, no, the marketing department just decided that, oh, well, we can take just clips from the final 20 minutes and make it seem like that's what the movie's about.
They showed almost the entire fight in the trailer too, which kind of annoys me.
Almost the entire fight. Almost the entire final 20 minutes is in that final trailer without pretty much anything building up. All the first hour and a half pretty much is not in the trailer outside of the nurse and doctor kill. I really enjoyed the fake suicide attempt, in that I thought it was super classless when it happened, but I liked how they pulled it off, and that the door opened and she's like, you didn't really think I would kill myself. Shoots him 3 times in the chest. I enjoyed that kind of stuff because it didn't come off as super corny, which there is 2018 when she appears right behind Michael, they do that she appears in the shadows. I can't remember what the hell.
They do the reverse of the first movie, yeah. I
can't remember what she said. She said something that's really cheesy. I don't like that. And so this one, I thought that they pulled it off, because I like cheesy 80s and 90s action movies. So I like that kind of stuff, but there's always a fine line between when it's too much. And I thought that this worked out.
I think my favorite part though with the kid though is when she walks aside. And I love it because people don't have peripheral vision in these movies, where she walks aside and then she doesn't see him. He's immediately behind her. She's like, ah!
The fact that Allison and Corey, that they try and hook them up and do so in such a Bonnie and Clyde way is so, we've said it many times, unearned. It is so stupid. It made me so furious. And
she falls in love with him in 5 minutes.
And they also set it up where, oh, Laurie's the one that is actually, she's the matchmaker. So if you're going to do that, why then not 20 minutes later make it where Laurie is like, you did not see this guy. This guy's bad news. Why even make her the matchmaker in the first place? Make her worried, because she's like, oh,
I don't trust him.
Yeah, I know of this guy. I see the parallels between him and Michael. Shit like that. Very simple. Just don't make her the matchmaker. Oh, it's so stupid.
She wants to get her niece laid. That's what she does. And and then immediately she falls in love.
Respect.
And they're like, we hate this town. This, it's just like what the 50-year-old cop you're dating is a douchebag. I mean, I don't know. It's out of character. Like we said, nothing's earned. It's almost like every character that was from the first two, the time jump really is their excuse to write different characters. And it's such a foolish time jump.
I'm coming for you, Michael. That can let go. That makes you want to rip off your shirt and show grief your fucking tits.
But all right, well, let's finish this up, man. What are you going to rate Halloween Ends, man? What's this going to end on?
So I've already looked through and seen what I rate some of the other things in the trilogy or in the whole series, so that I knew where I could, because I knew where I wanted this to fall, but I didn't know in terms of a rating. Because there are some stuff that I like, I'll give this a 3 out of 10. And I know that me saying oh, because of some stuff I like, it would have been at a 1. I can't say enough how much I fucking hated this movie. This is going to be one of those movies where I almost guarantee I'm going to get into an argument with someone where they tell me it's a good Halloween movie, and then I just have to go into them and
let people enjoy life, man. Life is short.
Yeah.
I mean, I fight about pizza, so who am I? I think I'll get like a 3 or 4, maybe. I don't know. It doesn't really matter at that point. I don't care. It's bad.
Yeah, hopefully you liked our little opinions on this. Hopefully you don't think we're too harsh, or you think we're not harsh enough, which I would absolutely love. Get down in those comments and let us know.
But love what you love. Love what you love, man. Love what you love. You know, if you're a Jason Goes to Hell guy, then maybe this is your bag. All right. Well, until next time, buddy.
Until next time.